All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Chris. This is my channel, Barnon 11970. Thank you, as always, for listening to what I have to say. All right, I had to take a day or two off because just reading some of the comments was getting a little stressful. And when you get to that point, that's when you say, okay, time to sit back a little bit. And I see so many comments about the fact that you have to vote, you have to get out and vote. And what I find funny is the majority of people say that if you go to their profiles, they don't make videos, they have no content, they have no subscribers, no nothing. Is that a coincidence? It sure could be. But as much as I would love to believe that we have an honest system filled with plenty of people with integrity, and you could go and actually register your vote to who you wanted, it will be tabulated fairly and honestly, and you will get the exact results based on what the people want. Now, in a perfect world, that would be how the system works. And I tell people all the time, if you look at how people are selected, if we truly had a system that was honest, we would not always have the same type of people that become president term after term. It's either a Democrat or a Republican, and they are always wealthy people. Most of the time, white men. Now, I would like to think there are plenty of people, male or female, black, white, Chinese, Russian, whatever. Well, actually, from a Russian background, they can't be Russian to be the president. But then again, you never know, because we have a president now who was not born in this country, even though they'll tell you that. But that's a topic for another video. My point is, if things were honest, we would have different choices for president, but we don't. We have the same thing over and over again, and it's corruption. Now, I'm going to show a clip in a second or two that will remind people that only about a month ago, it was proven via the WikiLeaks emails that the DNC was rigging the system so it was guaranteed that Hillary will be the choice and the nominee for president, and that Bernie Sanders did not have a chance. Now, he said from the beginning that it was rigged, and no one believed him, and they laughed at him and they ignored him. The problem is, even he knew it was rigged, and he still continued to not only participate without trying to really drive home that truth, but then after Hillary was quote-unquote elected in, he went on her side. So what does that tell you? If he tells you it's rigged, he got booted out but made plenty of money, and then joins the bandwagon. What does that tell you? It's telling you, as much as I understand that people want change, people want someone to go into office and change the world, because it's obvious most people don't want to do it themselves. I understand how people want to think this is the time. Well, that's what they thought the last time, and that's what they thought the time before, and so on and so on. And the last closest thing we had to a president was John F. Kennedy, who was assassinated for trying to do things to help the people. And one of the things I love about this picture that I'm showing right now is if you read what it says, and it's so true. And it says, if you are not careful, and they put the newspaper, and I changed it to all media, because, I mean, it is all media, not just the newspaper, so that's why I changed that, in case you want to know what was underneath there. It says, if you are not careful, the media will have you hating the oppressed and loving the people who are doing the oppressing. Malcolm X. And that is so true, because look how much hate we give each other. I see the fighting all over the place in the comment sections of people, whether they are genuinely real people or people that are just placed into videos like this to keep people distracted. I don't know, nor do I care. But I'm trying to be the voice of reason, not because I'm trying to stir the pot because it's fun, not because I'm just trying to be an antagonist to get views, because as you could see, of 26, almost 20,000 subscribers, only 300 or 400 have been watching the last few videos. which is disappointing. But then again, they rigged those numbers too, so I don't know what the real numbers can be. But the point is, people are fighting, and they seem to forget that the system is rigged. And even Einstein made a quote one time. I think it was Einstein. If it's not, please correct me, but it's the quote that's more important, not who said it. The quote said, if voting actually mattered, they would make it illegal. Your vote is nothing more than them taking a tabulation of a popularity contest. They don't tabulate them fairly. This has been proven time and time again. And for some reason, the people just want to believe, well, maybe this time. It's almost like a person dating someone in an abusive relationship, and the person, whether it's male or female, leaves all the time. And then they come back and say, oh, this time I'll be different. And they keep taking them back thinking, oh, well, they really mean it this time. Or a person that is an extreme drug addict who would steal from you, and then they would disappear. And when they ran out of money, they'd come back and say, listen, you know, I want to change my ways. I'm really serious this time. If you'll only give me a 15th chance, I promise this time it will be it. And you keep taking them back. I understand there are a lot of caring people out in this world, and that's not a bad thing. The problem is you shut off your logic brain and only use your emotional brain. That is not always necessarily a bad thing, but the problem is when you're dealing with a corrupt system where they are there to take advantage of you in every way possible and keep you oppressed, why you would put your trust in a easily known corrupt system is beyond me. And when somebody like myself and others try and be the voice of reason, we get ignored, we get attacked. And you're oppressing, like the sign says, the very people who are trying to help you. And you're falling in love with the oppressors. Because as much as everybody wants to believe Donald Trump is going to be voted in, if he was genuine about everything he said, that goes against everything that's been in politics since it started, basically. At least since we've all been alive. Do you really think, like for example, multi-billionaires who own oil fields and are investing their stock in the Federal Reserve, which is a private-owned bank, owned by shareholders. It's not part of this country. If you think they're going to allow some person to come along and stop their scheme without any repercussion, you're crazy. Just imagine, and I've used this before, just imagine if you send Mother Teresa into the Mafia to change them. And she's there, and let's say she's 100% legit. She is going in there with the goal of changing the Mafia so they sell paper products legally and legitimately. Do you think the people that are in the Mafia are just going to say, oh, this person's in charge, this is what she wants to do, okay, I guess we need to change? No. She's not going to be living for very long. Or she's, at the very least, no longer going to be in power. She will step down quite quickly. You ever notice that presidents, they will tell you when they want to be quote-unquote elected everything that you want to hear, and then they never fulfill their promises? What happened to Obama's open government? What happened to Obama closing Guantanamo Bay? What happened to Obama wanting to decrease the amount of wars that we have? Now, we don't call them wars, but we're still sending our military overseas and murdering thousands of people. Where's the transparency? Try and get information from the government. Look at how many executive orders he's placed. But yet, when he wanted your quote-unquote vote, it told you everything that you wanted to hear. And sadly, and I hate to say it, and you can get mad at me all you want, because unfortunately, I wish I was wrong, but I have a strong feeling, I'm going to say I told you so, come November 9th, which ironically enough is my birthday, that the media is rigged. So let's show the clip so you could just be reminded of something that happened just a month ago. And I'm going to use it from a mainstream media so you could see it's not just some person on the street trying to talk about this stuff. So again, fair use, I can only show a little bit of it, so just keep that in mind. and I will post the link in the description. So if you want to check out the full video, you are more than welcome to. But I want you to listen to this just to get a reminder of what happened just about a month, a little bit over a month ago. Literally a month and one day.
Tucker, why is the press not going utterly haywire over these leaked emails that show that what Sanders' people said all along was true, that Debbie Wasserman Schultz and her DNC were trashing him and helping Hillary?
It's a great story. It confirms what the Bernie people have said for months. What's the real reason? I can only go on intuition, but the question I've been asking myself for the last year is, when did the press see it as their role to protect the prerogative of the powerful? Actually, I think that's part of it. They identify with Hillary Clinton. They're from the same class, from the same world. They have the same assumptions. Bernie Sanders is this kind of weird elderly guy with nose hair. They don't relate to him at all. And in the end, their gut instincts have kicked in, and they're on her team. That's my personal view. Can't prove it.
Now, DNC official Brad Mark.
Okay, so obviously I'm not going to show a lot of it, but this is Fox News live at the time. This was on July 24th, 2016. Today is August 25th. So it's basically a month ago that they put this out. That DNC, like it says here, ripped Sanders in emails. It's been confirmed at this point through those WikiLeaks that the system is rigged. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's put the emotion aside for a moment and just think pure logic. Do you think this is the only time this has ever happened in government? And the reason that the media doesn't talk about this anymore is because they want you to forget. Out of sight, out of mind. 6 corporations own 90% of the media. Whether you're hearing it in your car, watching it on your television, or reading it in your local newspaper. Do you see how easily it is to control information, and why no matter what channel you switch to, they pretty much are saying the same exact thing? That is what propaganda is all about, and I wish we had an honest system. I wish I was wrong. If you keep ignoring the very people who are trying to help you, you are contributing to your own demise, your own enslavement, your own problems from the very people you're putting your trust in. And I ask this question to anybody. In your lifetime, since you were a child to wherever you are now, whether you're 18 or 88, has the world that you live in gotten better or worse since you were younger that you can remember? And if it's gotten worse, then who is in the majority of control of that? Who do we put the control in? Well, we give it to our quote-unquote leaders who are supposed to be representing us. And yet, we seem to forget they end up helping big-time corporations like the oil industry, the banks, the major corporations, too big to fail. When was the last time a mom and pop store got the same kind of bailout that a huge bank did, or a car dealership did, a car corporation? We don't. So they're there to help the wealthy to continue to steal from us. We pay the bills. So if things have gotten worse since you can remember as a child till today, then why are we continually putting trust in the very people who supposedly represent us, even though time and time again we are shown that they are corrupt? So, ladies and gentlemen, why do you think this time is going to be different? And I'm saying this through logic. I'm not using emotion, because trust me, if this was a perfect world, we wouldn't even need somebody like Donald Trump. But if you think he is going to be president, you're kidding yourself. And by the time you realize that, it's too late. And then what do? The idea is to fix something before it happens. Yes, if you lie down on a train track, you're going to get run over by a train. You can't sit there and say, oh, well, that's too depressing, or that's scary, or that's fear. You can't talk about it. I don't want to hear it. That's wonderful, but if you're stupid enough to lay on the tracks, you're eventually going to get run over. So if you were smart enough to say, okay, yeah, it might sound scary, and yeah, it's not what I want to hear, and yeah, I really do like lying on the tracks for whatever reason, but if I get up, I won't have to worry about getting run over, well, then it doesn't matter anymore. So I've been trying to talk about this stuff to save people from the same trap that they seem to not remember every 4 years. There's a reason why most of our presidents have been white men who are extremely wealthy, who are potentially related to each other, even though some of them it could be as far as like 19th cousins, like Trump and Hillary Clinton. They are 19th cousins. That's not exactly next door neighbors, but you know, it's still a coincidence. And they're all wealthy. Have you ever seen a homeless person decide that, you know what, enough is enough and I'm going to try and change the world and become president? No, because as you could see, and Donald Trump has said it himself, he spent over $60 million of his own money for his campaign. Do you think the average person can do that? Money is what buys the office. And then we saw in the WikiLeaks again from Hillary Clinton and her quote-unquote foundation that people around the world, if they wanted special favors, they were asked to put quote-unquote donations into their charitable of the Clinton Foundation. And then all of a sudden they were granted access to things. So what does that say? She's bought and paid for. Just like all the others have been. And I know people want to make this bad. People, and why do you think the media talks about Russia and China? Well, not China as much because they buy our debt and we have most of our jobs there. But they talk a lot about Russia. Why? Because they're tired of the people and they're tired of the dollar. And I'm going to make a video about that and I'll give that into more detail. But people, you have to stop fooling yourselves. I'm very disappointed that of almost 27,000 subscribers, 300 have watched the last few of my videos. And I've gotten over 1,200 subscribers in the last 28 days. Why are they subscribing if they're not even going to listen? So I'm going to continue to be the voice of reason that's not going to be heard because I'm not saying what everybody wants to hear. And that's why like people say all the time, oh, Chris, you should run for politics. It's like, first of all, I would never get in there because I try to be honest and straightforward, so they'd never allow me. And as you can see, people don't like to hear the truth. They want to be sugar-coated. They want charismatic people like Obama, because I'll give Obama credit. He's very charismatic. He can get the attention of a room. You know, the devil has the forked tongue for a reason. The point is, they don't come at you with evil, because then you'd wake up. They come at you as your best friend. It's like they say in every Mafia movie. The one that usually does you in is usually your best friend. Because it's easy that way to get close to someone. So, if you want to believe that in a corrupt system, with nothing but corrupt people who are bribed into making laws and preventing laws, if you think your votes are actually going to be tabulated fairly and honestly, then I'm sorry, your head is too far under the sand. And what's disappointing is 99.999% of those people will never even see this video. So, that's all I'm going to say. The proof is in the pudding. Look up everything that's going on in this corrupt system. Please have somebody tell me that when they were a child, and today, to this day, that things have gotten better. Show me anywhere in the world where that's happening. It might be in one place, but it's definitely not here in the United States of America Corporation. And I have several videos explaining how votes don't count and why, and people refuse to hear it. They just want to be pandered to. They just want to be given their free stuff. Because nobody really wants to be free. They say they do, but think of it this way. If you're free, then you are responsible for everything in your life. And people don't want that, because just imagine that if you were dropped into a woods in the middle of nowhere, and they said, okay, you're free to go. Where do you get your clothes? Where do you get your food? Where do you get your shelter? You don't have anybody providing it for you. You have to provide it for yourself. People don't really want to be free. They want to be oppressed because as much as they don't want to admit it, and as crazy as that sounds, they like being taken care of. They like people doing things for them. That is why people look the other way, even though we get a lot of our products through stealing or taking advantage of other countries by either murdering people or going to places where there's unfair labor laws, like in China. If you ever look up suicide nets and learn what that is, we look the other way so we can get our products cheap. As long as we're not doing it and somebody else is doing it, I guess it's okay. So people don't really want to be free. As much as you say you do, you don't want to be independent. And that's why I made a video the other day, how you can get out of the system. 300 and something views out of 27,000 subscribers. Because they don't really want to. And like I said, I mean, there are some people that want to make all these accusations about me and make all these claims. I mean, I've been called a shill, which I wish I was, because that means I would be getting paid lots of money to do this. That's definitely not the case. But if they want to make accusations, I've had people say, oh, if you don't respond to my email, you're 100% fake. I mean, people make a lot of assumptions, and that's fine. If you, like they say, by their deeds you shall know them. Look at my videos. Yes, I've taken a few down over the years, maybe a half a dozen at best, but I have almost 1,000 videos. Look at all the things I talk about. It's all about helping other people. And yet, the people who hide behind the shadows, who make fake profiles that do nothing but make accusations, if you go to their profiles, they contribute nothing. It's just, well, I don't want to get into a rant. So I'm just going to leave it at this. You think what you want. If you want to make yourself feel better by thinking that your votes are going to count, you're going to be very disappointed when Hillary becomes president. And trust me, I don't want her to be president. I don't want the system the way it is anymore. And until people realize what is really going on and learn it, they're not going to change it. There's just going to be another person that goes in, they'll tell you everything that you want to hear, and they'll either be assassinated if they don't follow the rules, or they will conform because maybe they don't mind being assassinated, but maybe they don't want their kids or their family to be assassinated. It's all about control. And if you want to believe that this is a system where this time around, even though just a month ago it was proven through WikiLeaks that it's a corrupt system, what a surprise. If you think that was just a one-time anomaly, you know, like they say, a fool and their money is soon parted. I guess you could change money for freedom. Don't keep getting suckered unless you think they're legitimately going to change the world. Make all the excuses you want. That's not going to save you. So I hate to be the buzzkill. I hate to rain on your parade, but I'm not doing it to become popular. Because as you could see by my videos and some of the comments, some nasty comments, and you don't even see most of them that never see the light of day because I know how to keep a lot of that stuff off of my channel. You know, no, it is what it is. So for those of you who care enough to listen, if you want to share this to get it out there and see that you need a voice of reason in the world and not just your emotional roller coaster to make yourself feel good, if you want to share this to people, I need your help because obviously I can't do it on my own. And I wish I was wrong. And I make a promise to any of my subscribers or anybody listening to this video. Come November 9th, which is my birthday, if it ends up that Donald Trump does become president, I will be very glad, and I promise you, I will make a video that day or the next day, or within that week, because, I mean, if it's my birthday, I might not be available that day, who knows, but, or I might even not be alive, who knows, I will make a video saying I was wrong, because I have no problem with that. When was the last time you saw presidents admit stuff like that, or media admit they were wrong? They just make excuses. And if it ends up Trump becomes president, and then a year into his presidency, he's kept 90% of his promises, and he's making the world a better place, I'll be more than happy to make a video saying I was wrong again. Because that means we're all winning. That's what I want. I don't want to make a video on November 9th saying, oh, look, see, I told you, Hillary became president, even though everybody wanted Trump, and everybody thought, you know, you gotta vote because votes count. And if you don't vote, then you're basically allowing Hillary to win. That's the excuse they'll use when Hillary becomes president. They'll say, oh, see, people like you didn't vote. No, people like you didn't understand that votes don't count, and you don't want to research it because you don't want to put in the effort or you're doing what you're saying for a different reason. So I want to thank everybody for taking the time to listen to this. If you want to share it, that's great. If you want to thumb it up, that's great. If you want to subscribe, at least if you're going to subscribe, watch more than one video. I've had 1,200 people in the past month subscribe, and they've watched based on the one video I had that went semi-viral. The one with the comparison of the Trump crowds versus the Hillary crowds. And like 99% of them never watched another video. My thing is, why even subscribe if you're not going to listen to more than one video? And they don't want to hear it. You know? Just keep ignoring the track. Lay on the tracks and ignore the fact that the train's coming. Because it's too scary to hear and you don't want to hear negativity. You know, you could be lying on the train tracks and I tell you how wonderful life is and just close your eyes and to dream about the pleasant things and think positive. You think that's going to save you when the train was running over your body and splitting you in several pieces? Come on, guys. You got to be smarter than that. And I'm not talking about the ones listening. Because the ones that are listening pretty much get it. I'm going to have my trolls. They're going to say their stupid things that I'm just going to block or it's not going to ever see the light of day. They're going to make their accusations. I'm going to get the few foolish people who are going to just continually repeat the same thing, saying your votes count. And, you know, I almost feel like I'm talking to a brick wall. But I don't want to give up because then I'm saying we have no chance. And there's always a chance. It hasn't happened yet. So I want to thank you guys for listening. And I hope you will do the work it takes. Because remember, guys and girls, to be free means you have to have more responsibility for your own life. Watch my video I made just 2 or 3 days ago on how to get out of the system. And not one person said that they have done the majority of what I said you need to do. That's, you know, that's up to you. That's a beautiful thing about free will. You have the choice to do the right thing, the wrong thing, or nothing. But, and Disabled Gamer says, just block the stupid trolls. Well, I do. The problem is, I have stalkers. They've been, some of them, and I know who they are. I just don't give them the credit because they're never going to get any glorification. I used to say that back in the days. I used to call them out. I know who they are. I know one of them comes from my old comic book channel, and he's definitely got some mental problems. And I find it hysterical that they continually make new profiles just to say the same things over and over again. I mean, I'll give you an honest thing, just to show. You know how I talk about Pokemon Go and how much I hate it? Well, I'm a karaoke DJ, and twice I've had, not me personally, but the place I was renting space from, well, renting space, that's my massage business, but the bar that I work for wanted to do a Pokemon Go party. Now, I'm working for the people. I'm like, well, I have no choice, so I have to promote it. So I promote a Pokemon Go karaoke party. There have been 2 of them. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm participating in it. I'm just being the DJ. But they think, oh, because I say I don't like Pokemon Go, but yet I did 2 karaoke parties doing Pokemon Go, that I'm a shill. Really? I don't participate. I've never even watched Pokemon, let alone play that game. I will never touch it because it's stupid. But I'm not going to make other people feel like they're idiots for doing it. It's your choice to do nothing. But as you can see, I don't have a problem with hiding things. But this is what it shows. There are people who will search out my Facebook page secretly, stalking me, to find out any information they can, thinking they're going to crack me. When you're honest, you have nothing to hide. It's sad that there are people out there that want to make accusations, and they're the ones that are hating the oppressed. We are the oppressed, ladies and gentlemen. And there are people that get paid to help that oppression. There are some people that are just mentally unstable. There are just some people that find excitement out of hurting others. There's some that are just so bored they have nothing better to do because they're living in their mom's basement and they haven't seen the light of day since 1972. And there are some people that have mental disorders or problems like OCD that just do it for the fun of it. And there is plenty that get paid. Because trust me, if somebody doesn't like you or you don't like somebody, you don't spend 5 years trying to tell them you don't like them. You might say it once or twice, you might even do it for a week or two. But after a while, you're like, all right, I made my point, I'm going to go somewhere else. But for the people that stalk me for 5 years plus, continually watching me, that's some psychotic problems. Either they're extremely psychotic, or they're extremely getting paid. Either way, it doesn't matter. But these are the people we're up against. These are the people that are going to be oppressed just as much as we are. That's the part they don't get, whether they're getting paid to do it or whether they're just bored and doing it because they're bored. They are going to suffer along with us. So, if you joined our cause and actually you want to troll somebody, did you know that there's a new Facebook page from the Federal Reserve? They made their own Facebook page and it's getting hammered. I'll make a video on that another time. But you want to troll somebody? Go troll the Federal Reserve. The ones who are responsible for destroying, or will be responsible for destroying, our economic life. You want to troll somebody like me? I mean, please. On a good day, I get 1,000 views. You think I influence anything in the world? But whatever, people want to make accusations because it just makes them feel better. It makes them feel like they're accomplishing something. Attacking a person that's done nothing but try and help people. Yeah, that's an achievement. And people will say, well, why do you talk about it? Because I have always stood up to bullies. Whether they could beat me to death or not, I'm not going to just allow bullies to just have free reign to do whatever they want to me. I will stand up for myself. My question is to people, why are you not standing up to bullies? Why are you not facing them and dealing with them? Again, it's like laying on the train tracks and saying, oh, I don't want to talk about that train. That's too bad, or it's scary, or it's dangerous. I'm just going to ignore that train coming down the track. Do you think it's going to stop? It might. Or it might just run you over. So my thing is, if you face things, you have a better chance of success. People are so afraid, unfortunately, to face their fears and think, oh, I don't want to rock the boat. Well, you know what? If you're on the Titanic and you're not trying to rock the boat, you're going to be one of the many people that sink. So even the people that laughed at you on that boat when you said it was going to sink are going to sink with you. So all the people that attack me for whatever reasons they do it, maybe it's just pure stupidity or pure jealousy or they get paid to do it, you guys and girls are going to suffer just as well as we all if we fall. Because remember, guys and girls, united we stand and divided we fall. So anyway, I'm going to end this video because I've been told repeatedly that I talk too much and people don't like that. And, I don't really care because it's my video. If you don't like what I say, you won't listen. But I don't want to make it too long so people don't have yet another bullet to put in their arsenal towards me. So if you appreciate the stuff, you know what to do. If you don't, well, thanks for listening, at least for a moment. I hope you all have a great day, and good luck at the voting booths.